All right, everyone. So today we are starting Unit 8. Before we get into Unit 8, I would like to remind you that if you did not fare well on Unit 7 tests and you scored below a 70, you have the opportunity to recover that to a 70. If you go to Canvas, if you go to the Algebra SHS-E course, click on it. You are looking for Unit 7. Okay. In order to recover that grade to a 70, you have to complete the notes that go along with this, and you have to pass all 5 of these quizzes. These sections here with the rocket ship beside them, that is a quiz. You have to pass the quizzes in order to get the 70. You also have to do the notes. The notes that go along with this. So if we click on the standard homepage, if we look at, those are your standards. Let's see, let's go to the next page. There is a page where it says, printable notes. This is what I have printed, and this is on the back desk. So if there is a picture that doesn't show up, like on the notes that I copied, I'm not sure these pictures show up, so you may need to sketch them and look at this. But these are the notes that go along with section or Unit 7. You need to complete these notes and complete the 5 quizzes. And you have until April the 19th to get that turned into me. Okay. All right. So get out your warm-up. Please pause the video, allow students to complete the warm-up, pause the video for a few minutes, and then start the video again. I'm just going to go over the warm-up. Okay, so you should have paused the video. The warm-up tells us, draw a line BC on the coordinate plane. Line BC has points 1, 1, and 3, 5. Okay, so we have the points 1, 1, and then 3, 5 is here. So once you get your points, make a line, connect them. Okay, let's do the same thing for line DE. It says, draw line DE on the coordinate plane. Line DE has points -2, -6. So -2, -6, and then 3, 4. Right? Okay, so it's going to be really close to each other. C. Here we go. Hold on. Do your best here. I have rulers at the front of the room next to the sign out tray, or next to the sign out where you go sign out for the restroom. There's a tray of rulers. Some of them are broken, Some students like to break them. So nice of them. Anyway, plot your points, make your lines. Now, A and B is asking to find the slope. Use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 5 minus 1 over 3 minus 1. That gives us 4 over 2, which gives us 2. For line DE, it's going to be 4 minus -6 over 3 minus -2. Minus a negative is really a positive, so that's really 4 plus 6, which is 10. And this is really 3 plus 2, which is 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, so we made the lines, we drew them, and we found the slope. Okay. So this kind of brings us into what we're doing today. You should have noticed that these lines have the same slope. And when you have lines that have the same slope, those lines are parallel. Okay, so let's look at our notes. So parallel and perpendicular lines, that's what we're talking about today. We're going to look at some geometry stuff in this unit. So parallel lines, let's look at this first one. We've got two lines here. So first line, number 1, and we'll call this number 2. So number 1, your M value is 2. What is your y-intercept? What's your B value here? That's right, positive 1. So if M equals 2, B equals 1, we are putting things into the y equals mx plus b formula. Y is going to equal 2x plus 1. That's your equation. For line number 2, your M value is 2, but your B value is what? Negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So B is negative 4. So again, we're plugging that into y equals mx plus b. So that's going to be y equals 2x minus 4. So what did you notice? You should have noticed that two lines that have the same slope. Parallel lines are two lines that have the same slope. Okay. Perpendicular lines. That's what comes next. I'm going to move down. It's always okay if you need to pause the video and catch up on notes, that's fine. We'll call this line number 1. We'll call this line number 2. So for number 1, the M value it gives us is 2. The B value is 1. So y equals mx plus b. Y equals 2x plus 1. Number 2, a little trickier. Okay, so your M value it gives you is negative 1/2. Do we know the B value? We can guesstimate, but we don't really know. All right, so the easiest thing to do when you've got the slope, you've got the line, we are going to pick another point on this line. I see the point, what is this, -1, -1? So if that's the point -1, -1, we are using y equals mx plus b. Y is -1, x is -1. So we plug in all three of those down here. Okay, so -1 equals -1/2 x. But x is going to be what? -1. And then we've got plus b. So -1 equals -1/2 times -1 is really +1/2. All right. Now we have to subtract 1/2 from both sides. So we've got -1 minus 1/2 is -1 1/2. So your B value is -1 1/2. If we turn that into an improper fraction, it's -3/2. Okay, that took a minute. That's okay. We're going to have more practice with this if that was confusing. But all I did, I found a point on this line, -1, -1. And it told me my M value is 1/2. I plugged in M, Y, and X into this formula. Everything, I had everything except for B. This allowed me to solve for B. So your equation is now Y equals -1/2 X minus 3/2. Okay, so we had this equation and this equation. What do you notice about the slopes? You should notice that they are opposite signs and they are reciprocals. So parallel lines are two lines that have opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay. 2 and -1/2 are indeed opposite reciprocals. Okay, so turn the page. Just a few more pages of notes, 2 more pages of notes, and then your assignment. And these go kind of quick. This is not too difficult, so we're going to ease our way back after spring break. All right. Graph both lines on the same coordinate plane. I'm going to rewrite this one. Y equals -3x plus 2. And again, this one was y equals -3x minus 1. I just put both in slope-intercept form. So the first one, y equals -3x plus 2. Your y-intercept's 2, and your slope is -3. Remember, positive slope, negative slope, undefined slope, and a slope of 0. Remember, Mr. Slope Guy. Okay, so if it's got a negative slope, -3, we can go down 3 and write 1. Down 3 and write 1. Okay, so let's connect our points. Let me find my little ruler. Here it is. Okay. There's line number 1. Line number 2, y equals -3x minus 1. So your B, or your y-intercept, is -1 for this line. Slope is still -3, so down 3, right 1. You can go up 3 and left 1. Okay. So now let's connect those points. What do you notice about the two lines? What do you notice about the two lines? Right, they are parallel. What do you notice about the equations for the lines? They have the same slope. Okay, number 2. Graph both lines on the same coordinate plane. Okay, so I want to get this in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to divide everything by 4. So this is going to become y equals 1/4 x, and then 8 divided by 4 is just 2. On this one, I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. So that gives me y equals 1/4 x minus 3. I just rewrote those in slope-intercept form. Now we have to graph. So the first one, y equals 1/4 x plus 2. Y-intercepts 2, slope is 1/4. So up 1, right 4. Or down 1 and left 4. Okay. Get your points. Connect your points to make your line. Okay. And then the other line, the y-intercept was -3, slope is still 1/4, up 1, right 4, down 1, left 4. And then make your line. Okay. So again, what do you notice about the 2 lines? They are parallel. What do you notice about the equations for the lines? They have the same slope. Okay, so it's a really good idea to put things in slope-intercept form. It's going to show you if lines have the same slope, and it's going to be much easier to graph. Remember, you can always use Desmos when you have this kind of question on the EOC. Number 3, draw a conclusion that summarizes what you have observed and complete sentences. Okay, so basically, lines that are parallel have the same slope. Number 4, what is the slope of a line that is parallel to the line y equals -12? So if we graph y equals -12, -12 is down here on the y-axis. That line looks like this. You can always use Desmos. Just type in y equals -12 to see what that looks like. This means the slope of that line is 0 because it's a horizontal line. If you remember Mr. Slope guy, this guy, sorry, positive, negative, undefined 0, this has a slope of 0. So the slope of a line parallel to that is also going to have a slope of 0. Number 5, write the equation for a line that is parallel to the line y equals 5 minus 2/3 x and passes through the point -3, 0. Okay, so it tells you need something that's parallel to this. If we put this in slope-intercept form, it's y equals -2/3 x plus 5. So you need a line that's got an m value of -2/3. This is x, this is y. When we have y equals mx plus b, basically we have a y, an m, and an x. We've got a y, an m, and an x. We're plugging those numbers in and we're finding b. That's all you have to do to find the equation of a line parallel. So y is 0, m is negative 2/3, x is negative 3. So we're solving for b. We plugged in y, m, and x, and we're solving for b. So 0 equals negative 2/3 times negative 3 is going to be positive 6 over 3. And then we've got plus b. What's 6 divided by 3? That would be 2. So to solve for b, I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides, and I get negative 2 equals b. If b is negative 2, and that's our m value, our equation is y equals negative 2/3 x minus 2. Okay. Number 6, write the equation for a line that is parallel to the line 2x plus 3y equals 6 and passes through the point 0, 4. We got to get this in slope-intercept form. So if I subtract 2x, that's 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. If I divide by 3, that becomes y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So our m value is negative 2/3. Our x value is 0. Our y value is 4. So plug in those three things to find your b for this equation, and then you can write the equation. So y equals mx plus b. That's going to be 4 equals negative 2/3 times 0 plus b. I just plugged in all of those. So this is going to give you 4 equals b, because negative 2/3 times 0 is just 0. If that's our b and that's our m, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. Okay? Pause the video if you need to take a look at this. Okay. All right, we are moving on. Turn the page over. Last page of notes. Lines are an important building block of geometric figures. Today we'll look at lines on a coordinate grid. Okay, so this first one, we need to find a line that passes through 0 and 5 and 3 and negative 1. That's going to be here. All right, so I want us to kind of think about this. If this is our line, our slope's going to be right 3, down 6. Sorry, or we went up 6 and left 3. So 6 over negative 3. Our slope is negative 2. So we can go down 2 and right 1. To get some better points. Okay. That's your line. You did number 1. Number 2, identify 3 other ordered pairs that are also on the line. I picked 1 and 3. I picked 2 and 1. And I picked 4, negative 3. What is the slope of this line? How do you know? Well, we figured that out the first thing. We did m equals 6 over negative 3. So m is negative 2. All we did was rise over run. That's how we figured out the slope. Write the equation of the line. Well, our y-intercept is 0, 5. So your b is 5 and your m is -2. So write an equation out of that. Y equals -2x plus 5. Number 5, when your x value is when the x value is 100, what is the corresponding y value? How do you know? You just plug in 100 for x. This is your same equation. So y equals -2 times 100 plus 5. So that's y equals -200 plus 5. Y equals -195. How do you know? So the equation tells us the y value at any x value. Again, the equation tells us the y value at any x value, and all we did, we plugged it in. Okay. Number 6, we have number 6 and number 7 and a few more, like a few quick notes at the top of the next page, and we're almost done. Again, if you need to pause the video, pause the video. Number 6, a different line also passes through the point 3, -1, but has a slope of 1/2. Okay, what is the y-intercept of the new line? Sketch the line on the coordinate grid. What do you notice about this line in relationship with the first line you drew? And then number 7 is asking you to write and sketch the equation of a line that is parallel to the line in question 6. The first thing I want to do is find what this line looks like. And then I want to go back and see what the y-intercept could be. So sketch the line. It's got to have a slope of 1/2 and it passes through the point 3, -1. Well, where is 3, -1? That's here. Okay. That's 3, -1 right here. So if the slope is 1/2, we're going to go up 1 and right 2. Or we can go down 1 and left 2. Okay, so I want to sketch that line. Sometimes, this can help us find the y-intercept, but the y-intercept is between -2 and -3. We don't know exactly what it is, so we have to use algebra. All right. I was kind of hoping it would fall on a nice point, but it doesn't. That's okay. All right, so what we should have noticed here, the lines are perpendicular. Okay, so in the equation, y equals mx plus b, we have an x, a y, and an m. We need to plug those 3 things in and find the b. So y is -1, m is 1/2, and your x is 3. We don't know the b. So 1/2 times 3 is 3/2. So this is going to give us -1 equals 3/2 plus b. Now, if we subtract 3/2 on both sides, this is going to be -1 minus 3/2 equals b. Well, what is that? We can turn -1 into, it's just, I would do -2/2. Which is just -5/2. All right, so your B value is -5/2 or -2.5 if you convert that to a decimal. So that is your B. That's what we were asked to find. All right, write and sketch the equation of a line that is parallel to the line in question 6. So it's got to be parallel. So it's going to be parallel to this line. So I'm going to pick a y-intercept. I can see this is -7. And the slope has got to be 1/2 to up 1, right 2. Or down 1 and left 2. So those two lines are parallel. And if we were to make an equation, it's going to be y equals 1/2 x. The slope is 1/2, and I picked -7 as my b. Again, if you need to pause the video, pause the video. I need to turn the page. If you look at the top of your notes on the next page, I want you to write down a few things. First off, y equals mx plus b. That's your slope. That's your y-intercept. This is Mr. Slope Guy. Tells you what kind of slope you're going to have depending on what the line looks like. You need to know parallel lines have the same slope. You need to know perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. And that's it. Your assignment is here. Check your understanding 1 through 5, just like our notes. 1 through 5. And then you're going to come over here to Canvas. If I can click it. Okay, go to Canvas, go to My Course, go to the weekly planner. It's not completely finished, but I have today's stuff filled in. And what you're going to do is click on this. This is where you take a picture and upload the assignment for today. Remember, if you don't do this by tomorrow at the end of class, I put in a 0.01, okay, until you get that turned in. So make sure you do the assignment, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.